It's December 18. JP, You've been talking to a fair few of our clients, non-clients, but basically a lot of builders the last few weeks.
Yes.
What are you seeing? What are the conversations that you're having? Welcome to the Inspired Builders Podcast, your source for game-changing conversations with Australia and New Zealand's leading builders and industry experts. Each week, we deliver real stories and proven strategies from those who've been in your shoes. Ready to build something remarkable? Let's dive in.
Surprisingly, it's similar to last year, similar to the year before that. In terms of, if I look at the consistencies, because there are some surface level differences always. Everyone's story is slightly different, but the consistency is always, I want next year to be better than this year, or for some people, this year's been really good, and I want to have a year like this every year.
Yeah.
Put everything in place to have more years like this consistently.
Yeah.
So those are the two main topics that always come up this time of year.
Some of the things that you told me over the last few days is that you've had specific conversations with specific builders. And even though they had a tough year, a lot of different things happened that they didn't necessarily plan. It didn't go their way. They are very hopeful. Why do you think that is the case?
The ones that have had, let's say, a challenging year but are incredibly hopeful for the future, I would say are the ones that have had a big shift in mindset. And so they can see where the opportunity lies, and they believe and hopeful that there is opportunity. And they're also, it's not just about believing and hoping and, whatever I say is going to happen, whatever. It's, I know that I can achieve that, and I'm willing to put in the action. And that's definitely something, when you asked me the other day, what's a big takeaway that I've seen amongst our builders and amongst the market this year. And from that, I would say it would be those that are willing to take more action. It doesn't have to be a lot more. Achieving what they want to achieve, or a lot closer. Where other guys are just getting frustrated and going, well, why is this happening, or wonder why I'm not achieving my goals or getting close to or getting the deals I want to get, compared to those that are saying, you know what, I'm willing to take the action that is required. I'm actually willing to take, because it's always more action. You always need to put in more action, 10 times more action than you think you need, and those are willing to do that. I've seen that.
Have you, has that been the assumption that you've made talking with these guys, or is this something that they've told you, like I went this year, I went out of my way, did more things than what I did the years before? A mixture of them telling a story about how they won this contract, or how they won this job, or how this job went quiet, they got ghosted, how they got it back on track and closed it, things like that. Yep.
Some of them would articulate and go, man, I put in way more work this time around. And there are others that would just say, this is what I did.
Yep.
And so I've made that assessment and gone, I know that's more than what you were doing the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
Or if it's clients of ours, I know that's a lot more than what you regularly do. You're clearly listening to the podcast. You're putting in place some of the things that we recommend, using the tools that we give them. Yeah.
That's good. That's awesome. Yeah, it's always good hearing all those, the conversations you're having and hearing how a builder's thinking at the moment and what are they doing. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate in the fact that because we specialize in this space, we're talking to a lot of builders, then I'm hearing from builders that are winning and are seeing success from doing certain things.
Yeah.
And then we're able to share that knowledge with other builders that are trying to figure out what else can I do. And that's always a big thing we see as well, is those that come to us with an attitude of, what else can I do? What can I do? Because the market plays a role in the outcome of things. And so we have some of our builders crushing it. Some of our builders who they might have a quiet spell, but they come into us going, what can we do? What else can we do? We work together to find a new solution, new tool. Sometimes if it's a very customized, dedicated strategy to them in their area.
I think, today is a very timely podcast because what I'm seeing, there's a lot of different scenarios, like in terms of builders. There are the ones that are thriving. They've built great momentum this year. I think their biggest kind of like desire is to keep building on that momentum, especially like next year. And then also make sure that they don't plateau. They might be scared of like, oh, wow, things are going really well. My pipeline is looking very healthy, even into 2026. We've got a fair few builders that have come to us lately, some of our clients that have gone, okay, we've now booked our second and third job in 2026, which is fantastic. So they've got that momentum and they want that momentum to keep going. And not just that in terms of the business development side of things and pipeline, but they also want their business to keep moving in that upwards trajectory. Why do I always bring up that word in the podcast?
Trajectory.
It's like the hardest word to say. Anyway, they want to keep that going in terms of growing their team, in terms of growing their systems, in terms of growing their reputation, their status in their local area and so on. Be seen as that trusted builder.
That is a very important part you mentioned there, having that momentum and wanting to keep it and keep it hot and keep it going. And we all know people in business who have gotten things to a point where like, awesome, things are looking good, pipeline's looking good, I've got momentum. Now I'm going to leave sales and marketing and go focus on other things. And then before they know it, that's had no attention, that's had no watering. And they see the ramifications down the track.
Yeah. So that's that side. And then what I'm hearing, and again, I'm hearing this like talking to you all the time, talking to our team, and then also talking directly to builders. Another one is you've got these builders, they've been on the back foot the last few years. It's been tough for them.
Yeah, rightly so, yeah.
Yeah, rightly so. So it's almost like they're in defense mode the whole time. They're always behind. It always feels like they're just putting out fires. You know, every morning when they wake up, they turn to their phone, which is next to their bedside table. They might have some angry messages or some bad news or whatever. And then the day just keeps going. And it's almost like they are just behind the whole day. They always have to shift their meetings. For them, it just feels like, man, I just need a break, right? Are there any other scenarios that you guys can think of on top of your head right now, just to paint the picture of the different type of, mindset, like mindsets different builders might be in right now?
Maybe, the ebbs and flow of a job gets pushed out, or the client goes, actually, you know what, I'm not going to go ahead, or we're going to push it out to next year. That creates a big hole, huge stress there. And then you have the other side of that, which is, oh, cool, now we'd like to start. But can we go ahead? Oh, crap, now I've got, 1, 2, 3 jobs that all need to start within pretty close time frame of each other. There's that stress, and is that what you like scenarios that add to?
Yeah, and then the other one I've heard is like you've got these builders that are like building their business, which is awesome, and they're also doing things outside, like investing in their mindset, investing in terms of their wealth, and building a legacy like long term. It's cool. It's really cool, like seeing all these different scenarios.
One thing that's also been cool to see is the guys that focus on their business, and then once they see the fruits of that, they then go, you know what, actually, I would like to see more fruits in my personal life, in my family, in my marriage and stuff like that. And they've put dedicated effort into making themselves a better man, better father, better husband, and they're seeing fruits of that.
Yeah.
And then that just has so much flow and effect back into the business. That's been really incredible to see.
Yeah, that's right. Especially, I can think of one particular builder that's really taken this on board. Yeah. I don't want to name any names, but we got a video message from him the other day, and we used to talk to him quite a bit. Like this year, we spoke to him quite a bit. And then it was probably like 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks that we didn't speak to him, and then he sent that video. I don't know if you remember. I don't want to name names, but
and you probably, if you asked him,
like
the start of the year was probably going to be, he would probably say it was, I just can't keep up.
Yeah.
Like I'm always playing catch up.
Yeah.
And
like this video message was around like all the different areas in his life. Like it was a bit of an update. Yeah. And it was so cool watching it. It was like, I'm on point with I'm back into my fitness.
Yeah.
I'm, this and this. I'm trying to eat well, spend good time with my family, have all these things in place. And it was really cool to see. But yeah, like painting this picture of all these builders, I think it's pretty cool. And hopefully like our listeners are resonating with one of those or like, yeah. So yeah, it is 18th of December. I know a lot of guys are like finishing up at the end of this week. I know a fair few.
Summer's already finished. Already on holidays.
I'm getting holiday responders.
Yeah.
Already,
Yeah, they
which is
kicked
like,
in
wow.
yesterday, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, what's the purpose, I guess, Andre, like what's the purpose of this podcast? Like what do we want our audience to like take away from today's episode? Because it is a very special episode.
Yeah. I mean, to give some context and to answer your question you asked before, a lot of builders are like very excited for this break. And so a big thing now is to take time off, whether it's a couple of weeks or whether it's 3 weeks, depending how long the builders are taking off. But the purpose of this podcast is, and it's a couple of weeks ago, we had a podcast on momentum. What momentum are you carrying into the next year?
The famous episode 115.
Yeah, it's been going up a lot.
I need to check if it is actually 115.
I think it is.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, good feedback from that.
And that's been good, and that's momentum. And I think it's so important to like take a break now that's coming up, and people are like, man, it's been a massive year, whether they've been doing well or not. And so they want to take this time off and spend with family. But the purpose of this podcast is like, how do I carry momentum even by taking time off in the holidays?
Yeah, especially taking time off.
Yeah. And how do I utilize this time? If I've got, we've got 3 weeks off. Mm-hmm. Some people have 2, some have 4. How do I utilize this to keep that momentum going into it and feel rested afterwards?
Yeah. And also, I think another one is like, how do I feel excited? How do I feel,
stir that excitement?
Yeah. How do I feel hopeful?
Yeah.
How do I make, it doesn't matter what scenario, like we painted a few scenarios before, which one you might resonate with the most.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which one, right? If things are going really well, if you feel like you're in defense mode at the moment, you're just struggling to get by, just get things clocking over for whatever reason. It's like, how do I get excited about next year? How do I make it so that, how do I use this holiday time off? Doesn't matter if you're going away somewhere with your family or staying around or whatever, but how do you create some space to create that excitement again?
Yeah.
Like what happens if you've got that excitement, Japes?
Well, I think that we talked about the guy who sent us, one of our builders who sent the selfie success in all those areas that he's seeing. I think that's part of the excitement, and you carry the excitement into the next thing the next relationship, the next conversation, the next opportunity, the next task, even the next problem. And I think that is one of the areas I think is most valuable is if you have a problem, imagine the excitement. Let's say, we all here like to train in the morning because that gets me feeling good. I feel excited then to tackle the day. So if a challenge comes up, I'm excited to tackle that challenge because there's a very good chance that is not the first or last time that challenge will come up. So if I can attack the challenge, take the lessons from that, apply it, rewrite the SOP on that so that the next time the challenge comes up, no problem.
Yeah.
Or even mitigate it the next time.
Yeah. I picked up this book the other day. It's pretty cool. It's by Dale Carnegie. So the guy that wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People. Mm-hmm. It's like a classic. But yeah, I saw the cover of this book and I just thought it was pretty fascinating. And I picked it up because I think it's something that a lot of people are struggling with at the moment is how to stop worrying and start living, right? It's a pretty old book because obviously it's Dale Carnegie, but I've never seen this book, which is interesting. And I picked it up on Audible and started listening to it while I'm writing and so on. And it's really fascinating what Dale Carnegie says. So a few weeks back or maybe last week, we published the podcast episode called Inversion. So if you haven't listened to that one, go check that out. It's a mental model on how to achieve things and do it in a different way, in a different direction. Yeah. But it's one of those things. So one thing that Dale Carnegie says in this book is like, if you worry, you will struggle to make good decisions. It's almost like you're numb. You don't have that energy, and you almost see the problem, or even if it's an opportunity, right? Even if there's like a real great opportunity that presented itself to you, you won't see it. You'll see it completely different to that of where you are in a very good mindset, where you feel amazing, where you don't worry, you just feel relaxed. So that got me thinking in terms of like today's podcast, in terms of the holidays, is taking this time out and creating a little bit of space for yourself. It might be you getting up early while the family is still sleeping, and create that space where you can start dreaming a bit again. Start dreaming about what do you want this business to do? What do you want this business to be? What do you want this business? What type of impact do you want this business to have on your family, your community, the people that you help, everything else like that?
Yeah, I think that's really important. One thing that I've seen, and you guys would have seen it as well, most likely, or no doubt at all, is we get a lot of interest, funny enough, this time of year, because of the reasons of I want next year to be even better than this year, or I definitely don't want next year to be like this year, or so next year is different, or better. So that's different as well. And so we often then will give them a really great framework to work on. It might be evolving their vision, or if it's the first time they're working with us. So an existing client of ours might work on their evolving vision over the break. Otherwise, a new builder of ours will go through vision and planning, and they go away for Christmas, have some downtime, focus on family. Because at the end of the day, for most of our builders, why do we do this? It's for the families. And then I find coming back, yeah, I'm sure you're probably going to take the conversation there a little bit, but that's just something I wanted to add. It's definitely something we see consistently.
Yeah,
now is such a good time to have some downtime, which is important. But then using, like you talked about earlier, Andre, is how do we use the holidays to keep this momentum going? And some people might think, oh, I need to take a break. I can't be grinding every day through the holidays.
Yeah.
And that's very, very true. And funny enough, I'm not sure if it was the 115 episode or if it was one of my little daily or little weekly episodes, but I had a few people quote me this week, one of them episodes where I talked about success is not owned, it's rented.
Oh, that's from the channel Biz Video Insights.
Okay.
Where there's a 5-minute little video or audio.
Yeah.
So a little shameless plug there. Jump on Biz Video Insights.
100%. That quote was from Rory Vaden from Take the Stairs, and he talks about, your success is not owned, it is rented, and the rent is due every day.
Yeah.
And so keeping that in mind, it's, well, how are you, it's funny enough, and then yesterday I was reading a book, and the topic was how you do.
One thing is how you do everything.
Yeah, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Anything, right.
And I thought that was so well related, because that momentum, excitement, doesn't mean that you have to be at your computer over the holidays, but what are you doing to keep that excitement, keeping that momentum? Mm-hmm. It can be doing stuff with the family. What excites you to do with the family that you can take that, or you're going to do your big 500, that's going to give you huge excitement as you work towards it, and you can feel yourself with the excitement post achieving that moving forward as well. So things like that as well.
Look, we need excitement, right? Like I think as humans, we're wired that way. It's the way they make movies and everything as well. The character always has some sort of desire, right?
Yeah, it's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA.
To have purpose. Like, that's why we get up every day. We are designed and created to get up and do something and work and create and evolve.
Yeah, that's so important.
But it's really hard when you are in this mindset frame of putting out fires. Oh, the cash flow here, this. Like it seriously
that's
numbs
business.
It numbs people though.
And that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we know how it feels.
Yeah.
But then coming back to the holidays now.
Yeah. So I'm excited to talk about this because obviously, for those that don't know, all our clients that come on board with us, we take them through vision, and story dev. And it's there to set the foundation up again in terms of what they want their business to be like, what they want their lives to be like in the next part, right? Again, that excitement creates flow. It creates, I want you to talk a little bit about vision there, Andre, like in a sec. But so every new client that comes on board, they go through that. When a client, like every year, as clients, like, we keep partnering with our clients, they do the evolving your vision kind of like exercises and workshop phase, right? Because we strongly believe that if you have done your vision in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean that's done. It's kind of like what you said before, Japes, like success is not
owned. It's rented.
It's rented, yeah. So even though you've done vision before, even if you did vision 2 months ago or 3 months ago, maybe that's a little bit too short. Let's say 6 months ago, it's time again now, okay? And we believe the holidays is a good time for you to do that yourself, by yourself. And then next year you can do it with other people, like with your team or with your partners that if someone's helping you with your marketing or your business coach, or if it's us, right, for example, then you can do that with us, for example. But why is vision so important, Andre? And why do we take all our clients through that?
The big difference between vision and goals, because sometimes you think a goal can be like a vision, but a goal is like something very specific. Vision is something where you don't think about the how. You almost allow yourself, take out anything about like how you're going to do something and dream. So you're almost like, you're thinking ahead, you're dreaming like a little kid that dreams about these, I don't know, crazy like little fairy tales or whatever.
Space travel, time travel.
All that kind of stuff. And you dream, you don't think about the how, because as soon as you start thinking how, your logical brain is coming in. And then you start thinking, okay, is it possible? How will I get there? How will I do it?
Yeah, like what? And all these problems will come up.
Exactly. So if you were, as an example, if I put it in a builder's perspective, let's say next year I want to build, say, 8 custom homes, new homes, and I want to be, it's going to be in this range of money. Like straight away there, you're already into the how, because your brain's already ticking over going, how do I need to do that? How am I going to achieve that? How big of a team do I need for that? Whereas like before you get to that, that might be your goal for next year already, is allow yourself in the holiday to vision. And when I say vision, dream something that maybe is never done before in building. Allow yourself to go, you know what if we do something completely different for our clients and have an impact in a different way for them? So I guess to just come back to answering your question there, Corné, it's like vision is where you don't get into the how, you don't get into the logic, and you allow yourself to think about things and to imagine things that, it hasn't been done before or that you've never thought about. I mean, can you guys add to that? Japes, maybe from your side, how would you explain vision?
Vision, I find, is something helps me set sights in the future. Definitely the removing the how is important, because I was laughing when you were talking about that earlier. It's not the how, that can hold you. It's like, man, I'll tell you what, at home, Carly and I, she's definitely the visionary. Oh, let's do this, and we're going to do this. And my brain just goes to, I just start running numbers, running to-do lists, running who do we need to get, it's just like, and I'm like, and then I can very quickly look like the downer, or look like, why don't you want to get excited about my goals or the vision? Or it's like, I love, because I'm the one who has to like in part execute on it. So that's always a fun conversation, but she pushes me. And that's, I feel like that's why we are as a family where we are, which is.
But it also inspires you, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like.
That's what I was wanting to get, is with a vision, you can get excited about moving forward, and you can get excited about moving through challenges because they are going to come up.
Yeah. And again, like we've mentioned this a few times in the podcast already, like if you are excited, that changes everything in terms of how you make decisions. You just have a better outlook on life. Have you guys seen that meme there's a lot of different versions of it. It's a bus, and there's one person looking out the window on the one side and another person looking out the other side. The one person is looking into the cliff, and it's like, oh, how horrible is this? Like, all I can see is this cliff. And the other person can see the view. And it's like, oh, how amazing is this? And it's almost like they're in the same bus. It's literally just like the person just looking at the cliff could just go to the other side and look at that. And it's like a life thing, right?
Yeah.
But what I want to get to is like, Andre, just to back up what you said before, I know like SpaceX, their kind of like vision is to enable human colonization of Mars. And it's like, okay, so if you go, okay, that's the goal. Okay, how are we going to do it? Then you 10 seconds later, you'll be like, no, stuff that. That's a stupid goal. Like, how do you even start?
Yeah, because if you think about the how for that,
Yeah.
where do I start? Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with someone like Elon Musk. He's a massive visionary.
He's a visionary, yeah. And you can see how he's achieving things and he's doing so much. And I can guarantee you, like recently I've learned about a lot of the all the bad things and the challenges he had to overcome just in the last year. But what about all the things that we don't even know about, all the challenges? And it just seems like this guy is just powering through them all. And he seems excited. And also, I don't know if you guys have listened to some of his interviews and everything, but he actually sounds excited. And I'm like, man, that is pretty cool.
Well, I just remember seeing the first time, something was unveiled. It was in the SpaceX office, and how the whole team reacted to something was genuine, jumping up and fist shaking, excited. And I was like, that's epic, because I guarantee you those people work pretty hard. The expectation when your leader works 100-hour weeks, I would say a lot of those guys are doing some pretty big weeks.
Yeah.
But they love it. And that's the culture he's created because of the vision he set. People want to be a part of this team that are going to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
Or achieve the vision.
Yeah, and I think why I love this episode is because builders listening to this, chances are they started the business, right? They do have that visionary part in them. But I think somewhere along the way, they've lost it a little bit because of the day-to-day activities and the fires that get put out, like that need to be put out. And yeah, sometimes I guess maybe they just feel like they're on this hamster wheel, and because they've got to deal with all these mundane tasks like insurance. And
it's interesting. Recently, I'm trying to remember who it was, had two conversations of two people who had a very similar year. One person's like just a little bit mopey. Other person is so fired up for next year.
Really? What?
So excited.
Why do you think that's the case?
One person is willing to take responsibility for that it is their actions first that are going to achieve the outcome that they want.
But why do you think that they have that attitude?
Because they're pretty clear on their vision.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting.
So the question is like, and how big do you go with vision?
Until it excites you.
And scares you.
And scares you.
I read a book a couple of years ago that was like, if it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you the SpaceX one, that scares Elon, for example.
Yeah. I remember listening to an interview with Ken Block, the rally driver that also did sort of gymkhining, which is that drifting. Anyone who's search him, insane kind of driving he's done. And his perspective when he was doing rally driving, it was, if I'm not scared, I'm not going fast enough. I need to be just enter into that scared mode, then I'm going fast enough.
Yep. Yeah, so I think the big question we all have to ask ourselves and also the audience is, am I excited at this moment? Like my goals or my vision that I've got in place, does it excite me? Do I feel like, wow, I'm pumped, like let's do this? Yeah. And if you're not,
that's all right.
That's okay. It can be changed
because
sure.
It happens to all of us. We go through times where you're not as excited, but that means it's opportunity. That means you can now like get clear on it.
One thing I'd also
get
like to add, which I think is important for a lot of the guys we work with who are driven, sometimes when you set big goals and you're not achieving them, you can get a little bit disheartened.
Yeah.
So let's say, I'm assuming you want next year to be bigger and better, business, personal. So set time aside for goals, but also set some time aside for gratitude. I think
That's cool.
because if you look back, you will find things to be grateful for. It was a really cool exercise actually the other week I was doing. There was a book that Audrey chose from the library, and it was like Paddy's bad day, like Patrick or this little boy is having a bad day. And it was like, this went wrong, he's having a bad day. There's some other quirky stuff in that book, which I won't talk about. But anyways, having a bad day. And it was fun to be able to teach Audrey, let's go back through this book and let's point out all the things that are going well for Patrick. And that was a cool exercise to see her point that out. So it's like, here's Patrick. He was hungry in the night. He had to go he went to go fill up his milk bottle, but he spilt it. Yeah, but read here. Remember, he chose to do that by himself. That's him going ahead and taking that initiative. And he also chose to pick up his sister's bottle to fill her bottle up. That's really impressive.
And he's got a fridge.
And then his mum parents got angry because he made a mess. And then, the next thing was like, oh, it's cool, but let's look at this picture. What are some of the positive things?
That's cool, man.
Oh, mum's going to work and they get to spend the day with dad. How awesome is that? He's got siblings to play with.
Yeah, that's cool.
But she picked that up really quick.
Yeah, nice.
I think that's just such an important part of being grateful.
Yeah.
Despite challenges. Yeah.
I think a big problem, like I know a lot of builders will probably agree, like, yeah, we've got to get clear on our vision. We've got to get excited and everything, right? So if that's where they're at, I think a big problem is sometimes people don't know how to do it, like how to actually get clear on their vision, or they don't know what questions to ask themselves to like prompt themselves, especially because let's say, for example, you are not excited. And you're like, okay, the goal is for me to get excited. What questions should I be asking myself so that I get excited? They need kind of like this framework.
Yeah.
So I think obviously when clients come on board with us, we take them through vision and everything. One cool thing we've created recently, like we literally just started launching it yesterday, like a little bit of a soft launch, is what we call the 5-day vision accelerator for builders. And basically what it is it's for builders that they want some sort of framework, something to prompt their thinking, to help them get excited, to get clear on their vision a little bit more. Okay, it's not our full-blown vision workshop that we take our clients on, but it's a great opportunity, especially during these holidays, to get prompted with these questions. All right, so we've set this up, and we'll include a link in this episode for everyone to like sign up on. So if you're a client, you've done vision with us a fair few times, that's fine. Jump on it. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, you said that to me. So you sent that to us the other day, and I was having a read through it, and I was like, whoa, this is good. Yeah. I'm actually going to go through it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I signed you guys up yesterday. And the way we've created it's basically just 5 days.
Yeah.
You get an email every single day with just a little bit of a story/analogy, a small teaching. So all of that will only take you a couple of minutes to read. Do it, first thing in the morning with your coffee. It sends out 5 a.m. every single day. And then there are some prompts. So just have a notepad ready, notebook, and ask yourself those questions and just think about it. And I don't know, for myself, I love to go to the beach, just sit there with that big, vast openness where you can't even see the end. And I love that because that helps with vision for me. Just get in whatever space that gets you excited. And it's 5 days and it's totally free. Again, for us, it's just to add value to our audience. You just sign up and then you get those emails.
Yeah, like as an example, what we're going to be doing, like us three, is the first week of the holiday is we're going to pretty much take a day, potentially worst case scenario, half a day, depending on how the families go, where we're going to start very early in the morning, go for a swim at the beach, And then
we might even go for a ride before the sun even comes
I
up.
just don't have a bike yet.
We'll get your bike.
Yeah.
I know Corné's got a bike.
Yeah, Corné's got a few bikes. I'm sure he'll lend it to his brother. But yeah, then we're gonna meet at like a coffee shop and we'll start the whole conversation. And the whole mindset will be to walk in without thinking about the how, because we're in holiday mode. Let's dream. And then we're gonna go through those questions that we're sending out to everyone listening here, and we're gonna dream, be creative, and work on that vision together. And then, whether we might jump to another place, another coffee shop, and that will spur some more new energy of creativity. And that's the kind of way that works for us. Now, every person might be different. You might not have, a business partner. It might just be you in the business. Well, ask your wife, even ask a buddy, even if he can prompt you on those questions that we send you.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because every time we do that, we come up with something cool, and we get excited, and with that excitement, we feel good, and we want to keep just having I think a big thing is like we always come out of it with like, okay, with what we're doing, it's got a great impact. Now, how do we make that even bigger? How do we have a bigger impact? Yeah, next time let's bring water. You're right, man. How do we have a bigger impact? And that's what I like about this 5-day Vision Accelerator as well. We don't have anything to like gain out of it other than the fact of like us feeling good because we hear the feedback from our clients and people that have done this type of exercise. And then
and often at the workshops we get asked.
Yeah, true.
It's like, where do I start with this? Because everyone has tried, any business person I would say has tried to write out some goals on paper. But like you said, vision is different to goals. And when it is self-driven, majority of people struggle. They get caught up with how, they get caught up with thinking in a certain way, or you often do need an outside source, person or framework or something to help you overcome a roadblock or
and just to prompt you.
Yeah, prompt and just help extract more from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a blank page. Like if you go, let's go, I'm going to do my vision.
Oh man, that's the hardest thing.
And then
Here's a blank page.
I've got my little notepad, and then all right, let's go. Like sometimes it works. Like don't get me wrong.
I find it works if you've just come from something that has helped stimulate.
Yeah.
Like in group settings where there's a speaker at the front for some reason, and you get a paper and a pen to do something. You can do it there if their presentation's been really good and really stimulated good thought. Then it's much easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the 5-day Vision Accelerator isn't there to like hype you up or motivate you. We're not motivational speakers or anything. It's literally just questions to prompt you to start thinking about it, start writing a few things down, and go from there. But yeah, I'm excited about 2025. I'm excited about this break to just put that little bit of a pause in our minds for us to start thinking again, like what's going to be our impact for next year. I'm excited to catch up with you guys, like what you just said there. Get some excitement, some clarity, and then go big in 2025. And I'm pretty confident that a lot of our clients and everyone, getting clear on their vision, whether it's with us when we help them evolve their vision, or they jump through the 5-day Vision Accelerator email kind of series, I'm pretty confident they're gonna step into the year with a lot more excitement and achieve more and have a bigger impact. Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone who's willing to get clear on their vision and willing to take the action, 2025 has the potential to be their best year ever.
It just sounds like a good year as well, like 2025.
Yeah.
It's a quarter into the
25, 50, they're milestones. So.
It's a quarter into the century, right?
Yeah.
Gee, that went quick.
That's
because we were still in South Africa. We were just about to move.
Yeah.
I think we moved here in 2020.
Yes, it's
so
like
mid 2020. Sorry,
2000.
Oh my goodness, mid 2000.
2000.
But I remember, the whole Y2K and all that. New Year's Eve, I still remember that really well. Yeah. I think Mum and Dad. What did we do with a VHS? Like, yeah,
Don't even remember.
Wrap it up in a glad wrap,
time ago.
protect it.
Yeah, something like that, or foil.
You started
But
that.
yeah, so the last 5 years went really quick. I reckon the next 25 years is going to go even quicker. It's time to get clear on our vision. So thanks for the episode, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.